I'm Sandy from the Saskatchewan Science Centre, and I'm here today to walk you through a craft project building a gratitude jar. Now, gratitude, you might ask, how does that relate to science? Well, I'm going to walk you through that too. We all have bad days. We have times where we're feeling low and just not really feeling ourselves. But research has shown that by working at gratitude, finding the positive in our daily lives can help bring about feelings of happiness and joy. So where's the science in that? What does that mean? In your brain, there's some chemicals that are called the happy chemicals, and those help bring about feelings of joy and happiness. One of them is dopamine. Dopamine is the reward chemical. It helps to motivate us to accomplish a new goal, start a new project. Oxytocin is the love hormone. We have feelings of trust through social interaction, and that's often because of oxytocin in our brains. Serotonin is our mood stabilizer. It helps with sleep and memory. Serotonin can create strong, positive emotions and give us a boost of confidence. And then there's the endorphin, which is the painkiller. It helps us alleviate stress. You often hear about runner's high, and that's from a lot of endorphins in our brain. Some might also say that we get joyful feelings through a deep belly laugh, and that can be caused by endorphins as well. We all need these chemicals to feel happiness and joy, and one way we can do that is by expressing gratitude. By expressing gratitude and focusing on the positive things in our day, in our week, in our year, and in our life, it can help reinforce those feelings of happiness. So now let's get to the project. The craft project is really fun, and it's something that I enjoyed and actually felt some joy and happiness in creating this for you today. First thing you do is find yourself a clear jar, and I recommend that you use a clear jar so that once you're complete your jar, you'll be able to look at the gratitude that you've put into it. So I found one. First jar was an old coffee jar. It's an antique jar that I found in my dad's basement. I also have a jam jar and a mason jar. You can find any of those jars in your house, maybe at your grandmother's house, but make sure that it's clear and it fits the size of the project that you want to accomplish. Then I used the book Joyful. In the book Joyful, Ingrid Fetterly, the author, had a hypothesis about using design aesthetics to create feelings of joy. Now, I'm using 3 of those joyful aesthetics in my project. One of them is abundance, one of them was play, and one of them was nature. So in my abundance jar, I used the big jar. I wanted to be able to collect a lot of abundance. In my life, I really feel that I have an abundance of friends and family. So I used a photo of my 2 nieces and myself having some fun on a summer afternoon. I also painted the lid with some glitter paint, and that really gave me thoughts and feelings of abundance. I used a couple of extra name tags on it as well. For play, in the Joyful book, Ingrid talks a lot about round things, balls, balloons, things that are colorful to bring about the feelings of play. So for my playful jar, I used some pom-poms. They were really cute. And I wanted to bring out the color of pink. So I painted my lid pink, and then I added a nice little label to say gratitude. And then in my third jar, I used nature as my design aesthetic. This jar has special memories for me as well, because the beach glass that I used in this jar was from actually a very memorable vacation I took on Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia. So I put this together with some starfish and painted the lid to match the color of my beach glass. And then once all of the jars were completed, I started adding gratitudes into the jar. So you can do it every day, you could do it every week, or just when that moment really feels like a happy, positive feeling has come about for you. And then place it in your jar. Put your jar somewhere where you can see it so that you're reminded that good memories and gratitude are in the jars. And then a couple of ways that you can use the gratitude that you put into your jars. One would be at the end of the month, gather with your friends or family and read the gratitudes together. That's often a fun way to just bring back some of those pleasant moments that you've had together. Another thing that you could do is, if you're having a bad day, just feeling really low, go to the jar, pull out one of your gratitudes, and think about the memories that you had from that moment when you put it in the jar. Or one final way that you could do it is make it into a data collection project. When we hosted Joy Lab at the Saskatchewan Science Centre, we asked our visitors to write on a little piece of paper what brought you joy. And it was really quite joyful to read many of the visitors' comments, things like dancing, cheerleading, the smell of a campfire. All of those things brought about feelings of joy for our visitors. So what our staff did is they collected them all, divided them into categories to see if there were common themes that were emerging from the collection of the responses to that question. You could do the same with your joy jar. At the end of the year, pull out your cards, see if there's particular themes that you're emerging, whether it's a passion about a project or something you really love about school or play, things that you've done in your life, and see if there's any themes to your data collection that you've done throughout the year. In her book, Joyful, one of my favorite quotes is, "Joy isn't hard to find at all, and in fact, it's all around us." I hope you find a bit of joy as you're creating your joy jar and while you're reading your gratitudes throughout the days and weeks ahead. Thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy your gratitude jar.